to. But do you notice other teachers sometimes talking about politics to students or involving it in the classroom, especially around the 2016 election?
Can I answer off the video camera?
McHenry, Illinois, populated by 26,676 residents, established in 1836 and home of the Warriors. In almost every neighborhood, residents have been placing campaign posters in their lawns and businesses to display their political opinion.
Tell me what is wrong. Was I unwise to leave them open for so long?
In neighborhoods, residents proudly displaying their political stance.
As I have wandered through this world, and as each moment has unfurled, I've been waiting to awaken from these.
This brings forth a few questions. Why can't teachers do the same? Does it and should it interfere with student learning? And ultimately, who does it affect? Scripted in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution lays the unrestricted laws of freedom of speech from the government, yet openly expressing political views in the classroom environment remains controversial. Strangely enough, public school teachers are forced to conceal their personal political beliefs because they may be seen as strong influential figures when it comes to student intellectual learning. Since teachers may implicitly express their political viewpoints, the teachers at McHenry West High School may govern their teaching behavior and influence their students in their classroom. We asked multiple teachers at McHenry West High School and how they handle political talk in their classroom.
When it comes to discussing politics in my classes, I think it's a little bit easier for me to stay with facts because I teach math. So I have brought up certain numbers about politics that have come up for my AP statistics course, but I really try to keep it as objective as possible and try to make sure that I'm not giving opinions.
It's politically correct for teachers to express their political views in the classroom?
I don't. I don't think teachers should express their political views. Our job is to teach, our job is to get you to think, our job is to get you to inquire, problem solve, and develop your own. And I don't think it's our job to put ours upon them. If it's outside the class or if I'm specifically asked, I will clarify and I'll say this is mine, you don't have to, but prefer not to. I don't tell people which party I am, who I vote for, or anything like that. It's not my place. You should be able to develop your own political beliefs and thinkings based on your experiences, your values, and your morals, and what you want out of the world.
In a 2007 court case in Monroe County, Illinois, we see that there are limitations to the First Amendment in public school teaching. An elementary school teacher by the name Deborah Mayer was put in front of circuit court judges when she announced her political opinion on the U.S. involvement in Iraq. The district court concluded Mayer had the right to renounce her political opinion since the topic was a current issue at the time. However, Mayer is limited her freedom of speech in the workplace and may only do so in an appropriate environment. We've asked a series of students if they have ever noticed teachers being actively involved in political discussions.
Yeah, I remember last year in my science class, my teacher straight up told us that she was voting for Donald Trump. Yeah.
I feel like teachers are pretty good at hiding it. I personally, I can only tell just for a couple of teachers what side they favor, but if they favor, it's not like they're forcing their views on the students and such.
Political indoctrination from an instructor can appear in two of multiple forms. The majority of teachers today are mostly Democratic. In a study, 44% of teachers, that's right, 44%, are registered as Democrat, 24% is independent, 30% as Republican, and 2% are as smaller parties. Although political viewpoints should not govern teaching behavior, confirmation bias suggests that the teacher treats Democratic answers more sympathetically. Partisan political bias is where teachers are to favor a political party over another in academic assignments. Partisan political bias was tested by comparing Democratic and Republican essay scores. The average score for Democratic essays was 92.81, and the average score for Republican essays was 92.36. Preference political bias is where a teacher has more clearly defined views on specific topics. In a well-conducted survey, students were tested on political questions to identify if teacher political bias existed in the classrooms. The comparison of students who agreed and disagreed were almost exact, having the average score who agreed 92.75 and the average score who disagreed 92.41.
We asked students where they think students should learn politics.
I believe that students should learn politics both home and school because you need to be open to all this kind of talking and understanding in the environment. You need to learn that you can be political and talk about your issues outside of the home, and you need to learn to talk about it and get perspectives from everyone.
We asked students if they are able to recognize when a teacher is favoring one party over the other.
Yeah. You can kind of tell which teacher is more lenient with the Democrats or Republicans, or what candidates they prefer. It's in the way that they just speak out with their opinions. It's not really how they teach the class, that and that, but they do speak their minds sometimes.
Is it politically correct? No. Can it be used as an opportunity for discussion and discourse? Sure. And if it's done without the intention of converting a student, I think that there's some value in doing that. I think you definitely need to watch your choice of words. You should never assume that what you say is going to be interpreted the way you want it to be said, or the way you want it to be interpreted. So it's kind of a fine line of trying to ignite students' interest in what you're saying by being enthusiastic and passionate, but not letting your passion spill over into your personal opinions. Because I think that it feels like you're being indoctrinated, and I don't think that that's a good thing at all. So in my class, personally, I try to avoid giving a strong opinion about anything that might be controversial. Instead, I'll encourage, like I said, students, look it up, make your own opinion. Bring me, we'll have a discussion about it, but I'm not going to make it part of the whole class.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
But how exactly did students feel about teachers expressing their political viewpoints? Let's look at this logically for a moment. So we asked 8 students at McHenry West Campus to do a student survey basically describing on whether they've noticed teachers expressing their political viewpoints. The first question we asked was, have you seen a teacher at MCHS explicitly state their political opinion to students? 4 out of 8 students answered yes. That's 50%. The second question we asked was, during time of the election, did teachers discuss their reaction with the class? Exactly 8 students said yes. The final question we asked them was, do you think there is a bias when teachers talk about politics? 6 out of 8 students answered yes as well.
A public school's teacher's main responsibility is to provide students with necessary information to establish their own findings and developed opinions individually. Educating instead of manipulating is the only correct way to approach ambiguous political controversies.